Howdy folks, we are out here today at Flaming Geyser National Park here in the state of Washington. It is a beautiful but cold day. We actually dropped down into the lower teens today. It's about 12 degrees right now. It's gonna warm up to a balmy 20 degrees by this afternoon. I'm out on this amazing hike, and it reminded me that there's some basic things that we probably should cover about cold weather safety when you're out there on the trail. So here we go in no particular order. Here are my 7 top items to consider when you're out there on a winter hike. Before you set out on any outdoor adventure, and particularly in the winter, I highly recommend you always check your trail conditions before you head out. A trail that you may be very familiar with and you might have hiked dozens of times in the summer can be dramatically different in the winter time. So check your trail conditions. There's all kinds of websites that you can go to, there's blogs, you can call the state hotlines, but do your research, verify that the trails are open, and verify that they're going to be safely maintained for the adventure you're planning. Get an early start. I can't tell you how often I've been out there on a hike and realized that I'm out of time and I've got a long ways to go before I get back to the trailhead. In the winter months in particular, the sun comes up a lot later and it sets a lot sooner. So in a hike that you might have done in the summertime and you had 9 or 10 hours to complete, remember in the wintertime, that's going to be cut in half. So get out there early, get started early, and give yourself plenty of time for the unexpected. Don't forget about navigation. A route that you might have been on in the summer months could be very different than what you've seen in the winter months. Trails might not be marked as clearly if there's a good snowpack on the ground, and things just tend to look a little bit different as the seasons change. So make sure you have a trail map with you, a GPS if that's an option, or even maybe a satellite navigation tool. There's tons of options out there. Figure out what's best for you, but make sure you have some form of navigation with you. On the same lines as a navigation tool, it's also critically important to have some form of a communication device, whether that's a cell phone or a sat phone or an emergency beacon. Make sure you have some form of communication to reach out in the event of an emergency. And I don't necessarily mean an emergency for yourself, but what if you come across a hiker on the trail who needs assistance? You want to be able to call for help for others as well. So make sure you have some form of an emergency communication device with you. The excitement of getting out on your hike, don't forget to tell people where you're headed. It's always important to designate a key person, let them know where you're headed and what time you should be back. They don't know to go looking for you if no one realizes you're missing in the first place. Don't forget your layers. Layers are what's going to be the difference between a comfortable and warm hike and a cold and potentially dangerous hike. I'm not going to go into great detail on what layers you should wear. I'll leave a link for a video that I did about that one, but suffice to say you need to make sure you have a base layer on, which is going to help pull moisture away from your body. When you're out there hiking on the trail, you tend to build up some sweat, even on the coldest of days. The last thing you want to do is have that moisture stay close to your body. Remember, wet leads to cold, cold leads to danger. So a good base layer, a mid layer to help keep that comfort in, and then an outer layer just to kind of wrap it all together. Make sure you have plenty of layers, and maybe even bring some spare along just in case you get wet. So last, but by no means least important, make sure you have plenty of food and water when you're out there on your hike, whether it's an all-day adventure or just an afternoon walk. On the colder months, your body burns a lot more calories trying to keep its core temperature up. So you need to make sure you feed your system in order to keep it working well. Plenty of food, plenty of water, and you're gonna stay a lot warmer out there on your hike. So regardless of what your adventure is, folks, plan ahead, give yourself a little bit of extra time, make sure you have plenty of food, plenty of water, and some spare clothes. Then get out there and have a great adventure. So until next time, folks, I hope to see you out there on the trail. This is why a 2-mile hike takes 4 hours.